Hello, everyone. Ian Smith here with FedSmith.com, here to talk to you today about government shutdowns and specifically how they impact your pay and benefits as a federal employee. I've got a short presentation here I'm going to go through with you to hit some of the high points of this topic that I think you're going to want to know about. But before I do that, let me just say up front, you will get paid. If there is a government shutdown, you will get paid. I'm guessing that's what most of you watching want to know more than anything. So I did want to say that up front. There might be a delay in when you get paid, but you are guaranteed to be paid. So with that, let me get into it. So there's two categories, well, three categories, I guess. Accepted, meaning work continues. Those agencies are funded by annual appropriations bills. However, the federal employees in this scenario will continue working. This is the quote unquote essential work due to the nature of their jobs. And exempt is the second kind. Those are agencies that are funded outside of annual appropriations. So it's basically business as usual for these agencies. They're not impacted. And then neither accepted nor exempt. These are the federal employees who get furloughed if they fall into this category. And like I said, accepted employees, they perform tasks that are legally allowed during a shutdown. They have to report to work and they are paid, albeit retroactively. And a good example would be the Social Security Administration. If there's a government shutdown, people don't just stop getting their Social Security payments. So the federal employees who handle those payments have to report to work. Exempt employees, like I said, these are agencies that are funded by other means. They're not affected by, or they're funded by non-appropriated sources. So business as usual, essentially. A good example would be the post office. And then employees who get furloughed, they're not allowed to work. And your agency will notify you if that's the case, and they'll give you status updates of when you have to come to work. And the only work that might be done is minimal wrap-up type tasks to close the doors and walk out, that kind of thing, just anything that has to be done to prepare for the shutdown, basically. As I said up front, you will get paid. There may be a delay because of the shutdown, but you are guaranteed to be paid. This is because of the Government Employee Fair Treatment Act that became law in 2019. Prior to that, there was no guarantee that federal employees would be paid in the event of a shutdown. Usually they were, but that made it more stressful, no doubt, for federal employees because Congress had to authorize it in each instance. Now it's just guaranteed. The only catch is it's back pay. So until the shutdown's over, you're not going to get paid, even if you're working. Like I said, the timing, it's after the shutdown ends. And so you'll be paid as soon as possible after that time. So there may be a delay. And honestly, that's why it's a good idea to have an emergency fund in case this happens. It's one of those examples of life happens sometimes. Your car breaks down, there's a government shutdown. It's that kind of thing. Most financial advisors will recommend 3 to 6 months of expenses be covered with an emergency fund. That's kind of beyond the scope of this presentation, but it's just worth noting because it's always good to have an emergency fund for things like this. Again, because you will get paid, but there may be a delay in it, and that can be very hard for some people, obviously, because you're counting on that steady check. So how is your pay computed if you're a furloughed employee? You get your basic pay and any overtime and premium pay for work you would have done. And it's computed at the standard rate of pay, it's called, which is the pay that you would have received for work done during the lapse in appropriations. And by the way, I meant to say all of this information is from the Office of Personnel Management and their guidance on shutdown furloughs. And employees will receive their regular basic pay for furlough hours as if they had been in pay status. There's no leave charge, so retroactive pay is provided without charging paid leave or other paid time off. And furlough hours count as time and pay status for leave accrual, benefits, and any within grade increases. So you will keep accumulating leave. That's not interrupted. And employees scheduled for overtime, night shifts, or other premium pay receive those payments retroactively as well. So that's not interrupted. And allowances and differentials, such as law enforcement availability pay, are paid as if the work had occurred. As far as annual and sick leave go, if you had any previously scheduled leave before the shutdown, that's canceled. And any use or lose annual leave must be restored after the shutdown ends. And any accrued leave, as I mentioned, is credited after the shutdown ends. So you don't have to worry about that being disrupted. Accepted employees can request paid leave, although OPM notes that this is not the preferred method, because if you have an improved absence during a shutdown, you'll be furloughed, and so you won't be charged any leave. And so OPM basically says that's the way to go. That way you don't lose any of your leave or have to use it. But you do have to have your absence approved, because any unauthorized absences during a shutdown may result in AWOL status, absent without leave. And if you have any questions about your situation and how your leave would work, you can contact your HR officer, your supervisor, for more information. I hope you found this helpful, and thank you for taking the time to watch. I wanted to mention also, please also be sure to visit the fedsmith.com website, because we have articles that go into a lot more detail on this, as well as other topics that are of interest to both current and former federal employees. So please be sure to check that out. And also remember to like and subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified of future updates. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.